All right, let's bring in our buddy Will Silva. He's in the newsroom out in Culver City with the latest and greatest. William, hit us.
¿Cómo estás, MJ? Espero que todo está bien ahí con todos nuestros amigos. ¿Sí?
Ya tú sabes, mi amigo, siempre bien.
Qué bueno. Hey, guys, you're not chiming in at all? Come on, I thought you guys would jump in there at all.
Muchos besos, William.
Wow.
He asked me to chime in, I chimed in.
Well, Thursday is the last day for teams to tag players who risk the chance of losing them in free agency. The Cowboys with a couple of big decisions to make in regards to Dak Prescott and, of course, Amari Cooper. As for Dak, the Dallas Morning News is reporting the Cowboys have offered Prescott a contract with an average of $33 million a year with $105 million in guaranteed money. Prescott coming off the best season of his career, where he threw for more than 4,900 yards and 30 touchdowns. Now, the Bills making moves on defense this morning as NFL Network's Mike Garafolo reporting Buffalo agreeing to terms with cornerback Josh Norman. It's a one-year deal worth $6 million with incentives that could get him up to $8 million. Norman reuniting with Sean McDermott, who was the DC with the Panthers when Norman was there. The Houston Chronicle reporting Texans left tackle Laramie Tunsil underwent shoulder surgery to repair a torn labrum, but he is expected to be back in time for training camp. Tunsil started 14 games last season for Houston after being traded from the Dolphins. And the Chargers are all in on running back Austin Eckler. NFL Network insider Ian Rappaport reporting that it's a 4-year deal that could be worth $24.5 million, $15 million of that guaranteed. Eckler could see a larger role in the Bolts offense in 2020 as running back Melvin Gordon is set to be a free agent on March 18th. Eckler had 557 rushing yards to go with 993 receiving yards and 11 total touchdowns this past season. He's been a terrific story coming from a small school. He had said, even in college, I was always on the verge of tears because I was building. So Austin Eckler building up to this point, getting a nice payday, but a lot of changes happening with the Chargers.
And Austin Eckler is just one of those guys. He's ready.
Oh,
you
yeah.
call his number, he'll go. Remember when Melvin Gordon held out? When Melvin Gordon was injured, Austin Eckler stepped
Always
up.
there.
And, of course, we just heard that Eckler's new deal with the Chargers, 4 years, $24.5 million. It sounds like Melvin Gordon is not part of the Chargers' plans here, though, when you hear all of this. And, of course, the unsuccessful holdout last year, I think it kind of sets the table for that. Do you guys see any potential fits, though, for Melvin Gordon in this free agency?
It's going to be an interesting free agency because the running back class as a whole has a lot of bigger names. And you look at Derrick Henry is one of those guys that you're like, wow, okay, Derrick Henry just led his team to the AFC Championship game. Melvin Gordon held out, went for it, didn't have it. But I did like this from Melvin Gordon over the weekend. Melvin Gordon tweeted once Austin Eckler got his deal with the Chargers, mind you, not a fresh team. Right. He tweeted a congratulations to him in so many words with the Twitter handle that he has and gave them emojis. That was it. Now, we're going to show the tweet or not. Here it is. Well deserved, my G, with the guitar. Of course, Austin Eckler does all that. Now, you say, okay, well, Gordon had this contention. The Gordon holdout was an interesting one because he came back to the Chargers with, they welcomed him with open arms. He was in great spirits. Like, he's not a bad locker room guy, Melvin Gordon. He's a great locker room guy. So to me, I think he actually brings a special feel to a team. And I look at the Atlanta Falcons. I love that fit for him. If Devontae Freeman's going to move on, they've got Brian Hill, Kenyon Barner, Quadre Allison, all who played little roles last year. I think Melvin Gordon to the Falcons could be really intriguing, especially with the general manager, Thomas Dimitroff, saying they might be active players in the draft, moving up a little bit. Falcons, no. They can't go through this thing again and get the same results. The owner wants victories. I think Melvin Gordon is a proven entity in this league. I think Melvin Gordon would be a great addition to that offense. I like the Atlanta Falcons for Melvin Gordon.
Yeah, I like the Atlanta Falcons. I also like Miami. When you think about what they were doing last year, they got rid of Kenyon Dre. He goes to Arizona, has one hell of a season. But, you know, they're building something special. And I feel like they're going to go quarterback. I feel like they will go Tua. But why not bring in a veteran a guy that you can get on a short-term deal. He's going to ask for a little bit of money, but maybe you take that risk and say, listen, for a couple of seasons, you give me everything you got. There was one year where he had 14 touchdowns, so we know that he can do it. He just needs to stay healthy. I like a bigger, strong back, very similar to Derrick Henry in that sense. Whoever gets him, though, they're going to have to figure out what the compromise is for money, because that was the reason why he set out last year. He wanted to get paid. The question is, who's going to pay him in free agency?
Yeah, and if nobody read the Peter King column on Austin Eckler, it's really cool stuff. Undrafted out of Western State, Colorado. He shows up to Chargers camp, and you knew it was a bad sign because they gave him number 3 to wear in camp, just a number. He's not going to be here. He goes to Anthony Lynn and says, what can I do to make this team? Just keep working, man. Just keep working, which is a non-answer. You know, like it was never supposed to make it. And
Which is, it ain't looking good.
Just working, number 3. And then here he is. He gets the contract and everything, and now he's going to be the guy in some capacity with the Chargers. Melvin Gordon, I think he's a really good fit for the Chargers. Other than that, you were talking about if Devontae Freeman leaves the Falcons. What if Derrick Henry leaves the Titans? What if they need a really physical guy who can run between Lewan and that line and do the whole thing that Melvin Gordon does? I like him down in Tennessee, too, but we'll find out.
Here's the thing. You mentioned when how the locker room presence that Melvin Gordon has. I remember 2 seasons ago when Eckler got the chance when Melvin was injured. I spoke with Eckler about it. How have they been helping you? How is this running backs room? And he said, man, everyone is all in. Melvin talks to me all the time, helps me with my game. So they have a good relationship. But on the other side of that coin, he continues to step up every single time. I think Eckler knows how great of a talent Melvin Gordon is. But when you talk about the fit of the team, it's been synonymous because the only team that Melvin Gordon has played for. I can see him transitioning over to the Falcons. I think that big body would work well in that system, but it's why not have depth? What if he doesn't go anywhere? What if they figure it out and pay him? I mean, look how well it worked out for the Niners to have tremendous depth at the running back position. Took them all the way to the Super Bowl. So this is going to be interesting how it shakes out.
It'll be nice to see Melvin with the Chargers take handoffs from Tom Brady in that new stadium.
Yeah.
It's going to be good, right? Won't that be fun? That'll be exciting.
That'll put seats.
Charlie Weiss says no.
Charlie Weiss says you don't know anything. It is possible that Patrick Mahomes is only scratching the surface. There he is sliding in the snow, but he also is getting a haircut this weekend on the shop and had some things to say. We'll talk about what Mahomes revealed to Mav Carter and the crew. Also, there's a ton of quarterbacks into this win. You know, all the stories we heard about Garoppolo was that this was Brady and Kraft kind of saying, okay, we got to do this. We got to do something for Tommy. Like, let's get rid of Garoppolo. And whether that was true or not, we're still not sure what the actual happenings were. But for Kraft now at this juncture to finally say, I'm not going to intercede, I don't know. I'm with Kyle on this one. I think the heart really sings here. And at that point, at that very juncture where Brady is all intentions to leave, I think there might be a last phone call from Kraft saying, hey, now wait a second. Let's think this through and let's see what we can do. And it might involve Belichick. It might not involve Belichick. I just think there's family involved here. Kraft and Brady, that can't be broken. Like, no matter if Brady puts another jersey on.
That phone call's got to have some juice, not just mushy stuff. It's got to have money. It's got to have players. It's got to have a lot of good stuff.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
I know that Kraft loves Tom Brady.
Yeah. Tommy.
I can't imagine him walking out that door without one last plea from their owner.
I agree.
Listen, man, they're too close for it to be just a phone call. Right. That seems completely impersonal. They're going to fuel up the jet. And they're going to fly wherever Tom is. Sure. They're going to sit down on his terms. And there will be a little bit of a plea. And might even, I say, a begging, if you will. Because if you think about where the Patriots were before this Belichick and Brady era started, Kraft doesn't want to go back to that. Those were the dark times. I feel like he's going to do whatever it takes to keep Tom Brady. And you know what? He should.
But that's not Belichick's mantra.
I know.
Belichick, so then do you betray Belichick if you're Kraft and say, hey, I got to come in? Like, that's the...
You know what was really, really weird over the weekend? We're talking about players and how can he stay there and win. Tom Brady retweeted Antonio Brown with a heart over the weekend.
Sure did.
And Tom Brady, the tweet was a little bit about accepting it and going to work. Like, there was a little bit of contrition there. And Brady, out of the clouds, retweeted it with a red heart as if to say,
everything that's going on.
I approve, maybe we could reunite. I don't know what I'm saying, but my thing from the get-go is, I don't care who Mr. Kraft calls. Who am I playing with in my huddle? I'm not going to battle with Julian and friends for the 50th year in a row.
Saying it
give me Amari, give me AJ, give me AB, give me something.
It could be a message to the team like, yo, I need someone like this.
It could.
If you want me to
It was a tweet out of nowhere.
I think that was a little seed planted. That makes a very valid point. But I think when you think of, like, leaving the decision-making to Belichick and you don't want to go against what he wants, yeah, but it's Tom Brady. I think in any other scenario, sure, it's going to be different. But when you have Tom Brady and that's your cabra, or chivo, as we say in the Dominican Republic. It's just a different caliber. It's a whole other ball game. You can't really compare it to anything else. And so that's where things start to get a little complicated, and there's so many other layers to the equation.
Speaking of complicated and many layers, what's the holdup with Dak Prescott's contract?
Let's get into Dak.
What is going on? We've got a media titan, and he's going to tell us all about it. The King is coming.
Let's do it.
Peter King. He will join us in studio. Peter's always great at what he does, one of the best in the business. And what's the market for Melvin Gordon, guys?